Hi and welcome back. In this video and in the next few, we are going to talk individually about all of the products, and we are going to begin with the traditional. The traditional product is the first one and also the most important product, him and the low-end products, because they have the biggest market shares and also they are the most profitable throughout the simulation, especially in the first few rounds. And if you're going to do well and control the traditional and low products, you are usually going to also do well in the simulation as a whole. So let's begin with the customer preferences. You can find this in the industry condition report and also in the courier itself, but here it is a little bit more in detail. So you can see that there are 4 criteria. And for each one of the criteria, it tells you what the importance is. So let's go over it in depth. We can see that the age, the required age, the recommended age is 2 years, and the importance is 37%, which is quite a lot. Next is the price. There is a range that you want to be within it, and it is also relatively important, 23%, but price is not an R&D decision. It is a marketing decision, so we are going to leave it for now. The ideal position, it is relatively important. 21% is not negligible by any means, but it is a lot less when you compare it to the 37% of the age. And the last one is MTBF, which is of relative low importance of 9%. Before we move on, I want to have one quick look at the pie chart and just see visually how much more important is the age compared to the other criteria, especially when you can't control the price that much. So the age is definitely going to be our main concern when we are setting the revisions for the traditional product. In this slide, we can see visually how the position and the age affect the customer satisfaction. So whenever we are in the center of the circle, which is the ideal position, we are getting the maximum score. And we can see that when we are getting far from the center, we can see that according to the colors, that we are getting a lesser score. And same for the age. We get the maximum score for the 2 years mark, and we are dropping in satisfaction when we are getting either below or above it. So let's summarize what we talked about up to this point. We want to take the age as our main concern here. So we want to revise the position from roughly 2.7, 2.8 to 1.8, 1.3, to 1.4. If you want the explanations, I will add a quick explanation at the end of this video, or you can just believe me, but I recommend watching the explanation. It is usually revised most rounds, but in this specific sector, it is not mandatory. Sometimes you can make a long revision or not touch it at all. It's not necessarily a mistake because the age is our priority, not the position. You want to be within the circle. Ideally, you want to be exactly in the center, but it is realistically impossible. So since the age is the priority, sometimes you need to be above, more advanced than the ideal position, or behind it. But you definitely want to make sure that you are within the circle. MTBF is relatively low importance, so don't worry about it, especially not in the first few rounds or whenever you have something more important to do, like making sure that the age is at the right place. And an option that you should consider is letting the product drift or move it into the low-end segment at the end of the simulation. So quick recommended settings. You need to prioritize the the age. So you always time the revisions, so it will go from 2.7, 2.8 before the revision to 1.3, 1.4 after the revision. You always want to keep the product within the circle, and you want, at least I want and I recommend, to raise the MTBF to the maximum position. This is my personal preference. It's not a mistake not to do it. So if you decide to keep it at the different settings or even to reduce it, know that you can. There is nothing wrong with that. And as promised, I know that all of you waited. The explanations why those numbers are being set for the revision. So before the revision, it is roughly 2.8, and when the revision hits, it is being cut in half to 1.4. So let's say before the revision, 2 plus 0.7, it is roughly 2.7, and after the revision, it is 1.3. So you're either above 0.7 or below 0.7. So you're always, this is the minimal value that you can be, from the 2-year mark. Every other change that you will do, it will be suboptimal. So try to keep that in mind whenever you are setting the revision. I hope that it made sense, and I will see you in the next video.